And as I'm walking into the room, there's this glass door. There's this glass panel that, you can't hear anything behind the glass, but I'm walking towards there and I'm reaching for the door, and then like everyone in the room just turns around and just starts staring and pointing at me, and like you can see like people cheering and everything. And I open the door and I'm like, "What's going on?
Hey
Why are you all like acting all hype?"
everybody, welcome back to another episode of the VeVe Vantage Podcast. It's great to have you here, and it's great to welcome back MisterV, who had a great time at the New York Comic Con 2024.
New York Comic Con was pretty fun, to say the least. I was able to take the train, so it was a very smooth trip in and out of the city. I got to stay at a friend's place in Brooklyn, so I took public transportation from Brooklyn to Manhattan each day, bringing some stuff from the con. So there was that. It was a little inconvenient, but it did help my bottom line a lot in terms of saving quite a chunk of change. So I was happy about that as well. Now, in terms of how things played out for me, um, I got in on Wednesday night. I snuck out probably in the later evening, like 9 or 10 p.m., to meet up with some people, just say my hellos. And then I got to sit down with a collector that's on a part of the VeVe Vantage Club, Gents. He's a big collector on the app. I think he has the
Yeah.
biggest collection of matching editions on the entire app. So big
Wow.
shout out to him. Yeah, and that says a lot. That says a lot because well, and we'll touch on that soon enough. But I got to sit down, have some dinner, and some drinks, and we got to catch up. I met him last year in person, and great guy, great guy. So fast forward Thursday morning, I make it there probably like around 10:30, not long after the doors open. And
Actually, can I give a shout out to NFT Gent?
yeah, sure thing.
Um,
Yeah.
I think the min matching collection. I'm not gonna talk about the specific mint, but that is the mint that we both know, right? Like the
Yeah,
three-digit mint.
correct.
Okay. So shout out to him. So yeah, shout out to NFT Gent for being the first donor of the VeVe Vantage Club app, and we are super grateful for your support. Yeah, so go on.
Yeah. So I get to the con. I beeline it to the VeVe booth, and there's already this massive line. It's like wrapped around the booth, and it's probably like another booth backed up. So like if you put two booths together, it was a long line. Let's just put it
Mhm.
that way. And I waited probably like an hour and a half before it was my turn to get to have a chance to buy the pins.
Wow,
And
that long?
it did take a long time. It did
Wow.
take a long time. Well, of course, like, it's the first day. People
Mhm.
want to talk to the team, take their time and look at what the options are for comics and pins and the fidgetals and whatnot. And anyhow, so I when I get to the front of the line, I see that they're showcasing all the comic VV exclusive comics that were available, the pins, and I opted this trip not to buy any of the VV exclusive covers,
Mhm.
not because not because I didn't necessarily want them, but more because I wanted to allocate my resources more towards the pins that were fidgetals. So there were hearts, and then there were regular pins with the VV logo, and I opted to go with just the hearts and uh, the fig pins, uh, KFC collectibles, and
I
I
heard
maxed.
that I heard that they initially allow five complete sets per buyer, and then they lower it down to three,
Yeah,
right?
by the time I got to the to the point of sales, that desk, they cut down the cap.
Wow.
So they were worried about people not getting some.
Hmm.
So I understand that. So I did buy 3 sets of the hearts, and I think I don't remember how many KFC things I got. I think it was one to three somewhere in there. I don't remember what the max was. But anyways, I got those. I redeemed the codes not long after, and I just spent the next couple of hours just hanging out, taking it all in. Um, Caught up with some people like Steve-O, Standoff Chart, Grubba B. Got to meet Mikhail. He's one of the mods. Very pleasant guy. Very knowledgeable about comics. He's big on comics.
Mm.
Um, and then just kind of bouncing around. We were like ping pong balls bouncing from like booth to booth, trying to find cell signals for the drops and all of that stuff. So that was a lot of fun. It was you're taking it all in, and then let's just fast forward to us getting ready for the party that later on that night. We all go our separate ways, um, head back to Brooklyn, grab some dinner, and then uh, I go to the club. It was called Musica in Manhattan. I forget what the intersection was, but I walk in and I catch up with a whole bunch of people that I didn't see at the con, because it was packed at the con and people were doing their own things.
Wait, this is
Um,
before you lost your phone, right?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay, okay.
yes.
By the way, guys, this Mr. V lost his phone for the entire 4 days.
No, not 4 days, 2 days, 2 days.
2 days. All right.
So um, it was cool. It was really cool. It was a really nice layout. There was like a upper area where people could get bottle service, and then there was the dance floor, and there was like performances going on throughout the night. Uh, it was a very spacious layout, and it was a really cool experience. New York's always a good time. And I kind of decided to kind of like stay off to the side a little bit, away from that area, because it was hard to hear. It
Mm.
was just so packed. And from my experience last year, when when you're in a club and you're yelling at the top of your lungs just so that people can hear
Yeah,
like
yeah.
anything,
I
you
remember
lose your
that.
voice really quick,
Yeah.
right? So I kind of learned from my experience last year, and I went off to an area where it was a little bit more quiet and easier to hear the people I was talking to. I caught up with a bunch of guys. Asuk Nath, who's like a top 15 whale. He's got like 10 artist proof pieces. He's an
Wow.
awesome guy. I met him last year as well. Got to catch up with him.
Are those
Um,
the are those the one-on-ones?
yes, the one-on-ones.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes, the artist proofs. I got to catch up with Mr. 41.
Oh
He
yeah.
came in. I caught up with him, and it was really cool to see him. I got to meet in person Mr. Squeebs.
Mm.
Uh, he's the Amazing Fantasy 15 secret rare whale. Right now, he's got 35 secret rare copies.
Wow. I think he just
35,
bought one extra today too.
probably,
Yeah,
probably.
which is insane.
Yeah, dude's got conviction,
Mm.
and like he reminds me a lot. Like, not that I've got the bankroll that he's got, but we've spoken before, and we kind of have like different levels of OCD where his conviction for the AF-15 secret rares is unlike anybody else's, as proven by his holdings. Whereas, my conviction, my like OCD is like I have to pursue this certain edition
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stick with just that. So it was cool, like, got to connect on that level as collectors. And then hung out with Gents, the biggest, and I'm like 99.99% sure that he's got the biggest matching collection on all the entire app. Um, and man, I saw Sleeping Comics there, and so on and so forth. So I could name drop. There was Mrs. Cavers, Sir Dreadlock, Sir Dreadlife, and a bunch of other people from the community that came up to me and either introduced themselves to me or got to catch up with me from last year. I was just talking to a bunch of people. I saw Jay Green there too.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. He made a really cool lanyard.
Oh, he did
Uh,
again this year?
yeah, it looks like this. I don't know if you could see
Wow.
it very well,
Jay
but
Green coming
very
through
cool.
every
Of
single
supporting it
year.
always. Yeah, he comes prepared. He comes super prepared, over prepared.
Yeah.
Uh, so anyhow, on Thursday night, um, wrap things up. I hop into a cab, no, into an Uber, and because it's like a 30, 45 minute commute, I took a nap on the way back. And then when I get upstairs, I realize, oh, I don't have my phone.
Biggest
And
fear.
yeah, and the person who I'm staying with, they were already passed out, and I'm not one to interrupt somebody when they're sleeping. So I just kind of let it go until until the morning. But when I woke up, they had already left for work. So I was screwed. I was
Yeah.
screwed at night and I was screwed in the morning. And so I had to take public transportation to the con on Friday morning, or it was actually like probably closer to noon because I was still trying to figure things out
Yeah.
my end.
Man, that is scary. Like that is one of my biggest fear is losing my phone.
Yeah, everything. Back up everything. I That's why I learned after
Mm,
all of this. But anyways, I get to the con and I share with some people over at the booth like what had happened, and there's Miss Slammy, um, she's one of the women of VeVe. Her name is Slammy, and she was so sweet with me. She offered me to she offered to let me use her phone to try and log into my Uber account, but I quickly found out that because of 2FA,
yeah.
I I was done. Like I couldn't do anything. I tried a lot, and that didn't quite work out. So Standoff Chart offered to go with me to the store so I could buy a replacement phone until I figured things out. And so shout out to him. He was a big help. And he provided like a lifeline for me while I was going through that process.
Did he walk with you to a Verizon store with his full Wolverine costume?
He did.
Oh
He
wow.
did. He did. He was a really cool sport about it, and he's just awesome guy. Out went above and beyond, and so I got my phone. I got a replacement phone. He went off, did his thing, got ready for the evening. I went back to the con, and uh, I think I got like a signature for one of the comics I had brought there. I got it signed and sent for grading. Then I went back um to the place where I was staying at in Brooklyn. And I get ready for as I'm getting ready, I get a phone call from my wife, and she says that she got in touch with the Uber driver
Mm,
because she was pinging my phone
right.
until he picked up. And she actually saw that the guy was on the highway and driving around. He picked up and he gave us a number. He said, call back in an hour when he's back in Manhattan. All throughout the Friday night party, I'm calling and texting the guy, and he's not picking up. And I'm like, why would this guy give me his number if he's not going to pick up? And so that's going on while I'm enjoying the party. I'm trying to enjoy the party as much as I can on Friday night. This is the gold and silver logo party, and it was beautifully organized. Uh, very tasteful in terms of how things were presented for for the music that was performed, for the prizes that were given away, the introductions of the different uh, members of the community, and you know, just drinks, having some food, enjoying everyone's company, and then as I'm getting this like T-shirt, and I'm walking back to the room where like a lot of the presentations are going on,
Yeah.
and as I'm walking into the room, there's this glass door, there's this glass panel that you can't hear anything behind the glass, but I'm walking towards there, and I'm reaching for the door, and then like everyone in the room just turns around and just starts staring and pointing at me, and like you can see like people cheering and everything. And I open the door, and I'm like, "What's going on? Why are you all like acting all hype like around me?" And everyone's like, "You won, you won!" And I'm like, "What did I win? Like, what are you talking about?" And it turns out, Vince from the Addiction comics,
Oh yeah, yeah, Vince. Yeah.
uh, he he did like a giveaway for some stuff, and I won all of the copies, the four different covers of the
Wow.
comic, the third one. They were all signed, and I went up, got my picture taken with him, and that was pretty funny. I was like on the quiet side of the party, like trying to get a T-shirt, and then like I walk in, and then there's like a whole crowd of people just like cheering behind this glass door, and I can't hear or understand what's going on.
Imagine if he were to give you the four comics and then your phone. That would be insane.
I wish. No, no.
Gotcha.
That would have made it a lot more interesting. But anyhow, so that was really cool. So thanks to the addiction team for that giveaway, and for Sanjay for organizing that lovely evening. It was very much enjoyed. Definitely wish that you could have made it out there too, Will. A lot of people were asking for you, but I let them know that you're a responsible family guy and you put your family first. So I mean, I don't know how many people would in your position would have opted to voluntarily not gone, and just because you put your family first. So huge props to you too. You were in our thoughts throughout that weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, so
And then how did you get your phone back?
so the next morning, so Saturday morning, I go to a couple different police stations, and I find that because I was reporting a theft, because
Mm.
at this point the guy gave me a number that was not legit. Because the next morning my wife tells me she got somebody to pick up the phone, calling the number that the guy gave us, and it was a lady, and she was like, "I wasn't picking up or responding because you're not contacting the right person. I have nothing.
Mm.
It wasn't an Uber driver or anything." So I go to a couple different police stations, and I find that whenever you report something, it has to be at the where you realize that the theft happened.
Oh
So I
shoot.
realized that he had my phone and gave us a wrong number in Brooklyn. So I had to go to the
Mm.
station closest to where I was located at. All right. So I had to do that. And then fast forward, like I go back to the con, come back, and then I get a call from my wife, and she's saying the driver's on the phone.
Mm.
Stay on the line. And then so we do three-way phone call, and he gives me the phone number, the correct phone number. Turns out he gave us the correct number, but the last digit was wrong. So that made a lot more sense. Then he said he'd meet me in Manhattan uh, a little bit later on that night as soon as he's in the area.
Mm.
So I said, I'm going to be there. I'll call you, I'll text you, and we're going to make this happen. So I get to Manhattan, and I'm waiting to go to the Saturday night party. I'm right outside the building where it's being held, and I'm waiting downstairs for, I don't know, like half an hour, 45 minutes for the guy to show up, and I'm calling him, and it's traffic on the weekend.
Yeah.
But eventually I get it back. So I meet up with him. I give him a nice tip because like he saved me like a year and a half, 2 years of pictures of, you know, family stuff, and I didn't back up the videos or pictures. So, you know, I I could care less about the phone. He could have kept it, but the videos and the
Right.
pictures were valuable. So I was grateful for that, and I made sure that I made up for that for him as a thank you. So then
Wow.
so I got my phone back, and that set the tone for the rest of the evening. And I was pumped the rest of the night. I was just like I was on cloud nine. Oh, and it was funny too. So like at all while all that's going on the ground floor, uh, and the party's upstairs, like on a rooftop. Um, I bump into a bunch of people like Nino Blue. He's an awesome guy. I got to meet him, and the guy's got incredible energy. The guy's got incredible energy. His the charisma, the personality. It's you can't get tired. You can't feel any lull in a conversation. So shout out to him. He's a wonderful guy, wonderful personality. Apparently there was like some kind of dress code that nobody was aware of,
Yeah.
and you could go in with certain attire. So people were kind of scrambling to change, go back to their hotels, buy clothes so that
Oh
they could go
wow.
upstairs. And fortunately, I just met that threshold to be able to go upstairs without having
What was the
to
dress code?
nothing too crazy. Like you can't wear sweatpants, no, like no athletic attire.
Mm.
That way, no athletic attire. So
Oh jeez.
sweatpants, probably like no tennis shoes,
Mm.
sneakers, maybe. Um, couldn't wear a hat, no hoodies, stuff like that. So go upstairs and bump into. And I also bumped into Doctor Strange. Um, Shout out to him. Uh, KC Collections. She's the
Mm.
first person who interviewed me. She doxed me. This is right before I did the interview with you too.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, a bunch of the guys from Germany. I
Mm.
ran into them all throughout the weekend, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys like Captain VeVe, Felix, Simon, Sean, aka Don Juan Solo. He made these
Mm.
cool, really cool, his sister made these really cool hoodies, VeVe hoodies, customized, and he brought it all the way from Germany here. So I'm really grateful for him for going through that hassle, bringing extra stuff, especially from another country. And and uh, Knight Rider too. He was there, and then just the rooftop party was just like a blast. It was a blast. It was just like we were right next to I forget the Empire State Building.
Oh yeah.
Like like
Oh, I saw the photos. Yeah, yeah.
it was unreal. Like
Mm.
just it was very humbling to be in such a prominent area like that, um, and to have that privilege to be around such great people who, you know, really care about each other, mean well, and showed that, with the warm welcomes and all of that amongst each other. Not just with me, but like you could sense when somebody's being genuine and
Yeah.
someone when someone's BSing.
Hmm.
So that I mean, what a great evening that was too. The whole weekend was a really great experience. And then you know called it a night. Head I head back home, and Sunday I stopped by one more time before making the trip back to my home. So in all, I lost my phone, got it back. I got it to experience everything from like redeeming the codes for the pins, for the heart pins, the KFC collectibles. Um, got to meet new people, see familiar faces. Before I forget, I ran into this guy, Turfer. We
Yes.
talked about this in a previous episode, I think, but like shout out to him. He
Oh
he
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he came up to me and introduced himself, and we got to talk for a little bit. He couldn't stay for the whole trip, but for the whole weekend, but he did make the trip out for at least like one day.
Yeah.
So that was really cool of him to introduce himself. So definitely that was cool.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
man, there was just so much going on, so many different people to talk to. Mr. Falcon, I got to
Oh,
speak
he
with.
was there too.
He was there. Vibesman, he does some great production work with the videos from last year. The video from last year. Got to talk with him. Michael Campa, of course,
Yeah, shout out to
the one
Michael.
and only, the one and only. I got to hang out with him in one of the bars after the Friday night party, I believe, before he got his flight out. I mean, just so many people.
Yeah.
It was a really fun experience. What can I say? Same thing as last year. I wish more people would make it the effort to come out. If anything, if not for anything else, just for the events, the social events. If you can't swing the Comic-Con tickets, that's totally understandable. That's not for everybody, especially if you're like claustrophobic. I
Mm.
am, and I kind of bit the bullet with that, so I kind of just try and zone out while I'm going from place to place. But all that being said, great time, a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the next Comic Con in New York because
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, I think I will try to make that trip too. Definitely. Also, I want to give a shout out to Grubber B for two things. First was well, maybe more of like a congratulation for being the first master collector level 100 to receive the physical award from David and Dan and the VeVe um, company at the Comic Con, and also secondly for his generosity because he was like, "Hey, where are you here at Comic Con?" I was like, "Sorry, I can't make it to this year's Comic Con. Have fun, blah blah." And he was like, "Hey, I'm here with my family. I have an extra ticket, 4 days for the whole 4 days of Comic Con. You have to come. Just hop on a train and the ticket is yours." And I had something come up, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to make it. But I mean, like this kind of support is huge for content creators like me and you. For me particularly. So shout out to Grub, shout out to other folks like Mike Camper, like NFT Gens, like Mr. 41, Simon, and everybody who have supported us. Yeah, I just wanted to give that shout out.
Yeah, and oh yeah, last thing I'll say about this
Mm.
before moving forward, a big shout out to all the people who were working the booth because
Oh
they
yeah.
were sweating. They were sweating. They were hustling. They were they they put in a lot of effort to bring people into the booth to speak with all the people who wanted to have a conversation, multitasking like no other. I heard who was it on Spaces the other day? Prop. I heard
Mm.
Prop talking about how he brought some food for the people working the booth,
Mm.
and that wasn't quite. I mean, like they were all really hungry. So, like, for what it's worth, if you do end up going to Comic Con and you go to the booths, and if you feel inclined to do so, definitely bring some food for the people working there because they do work like long stretches, and it's very difficult for them to take a break for themselves, to just to grab a bite to eat or get something to drink, or to just get like a coffee or like a Coke or something. So I'm definitely gonna, if hope if I can make it back again next year and the years following, I'm definitely gonna try and
Mm.
keep my
Yeah,
end of that intent of bringing something for the people working there because um
that's exhausting, because like you waited for maybe over an hour to buy something, but those folks has been there like the night or maybe like days before setting things up, and then like attendees can go home and take a shower and rest and eat, but they like the employees have to stay there for the whole day.
yeah, they have long shifts, and then
Yeah.
so like they'll show up late to the party or show up really early after a long night, trying to enjoy themselves too. So it's so just thinking about others, which I know most people in the community do, um, and that. I'm sure that they would appreciate that too.
Yeah. So that will be it for this episode of the VeVe Vantage Podcast. I hope you have enjoyed our conversation today. And so we have a very exciting quarter 4 coming up, end of the year. Well, not really, maybe like 2 months coming up, where we'll be interviewing some master collectors and also Ben Rose, who is the new co-CEO of VeVe. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on these incredible conversations. Thank you so much, guys. We hope to see you again next time. Bye.